Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very kindly for being with us here today and allowing us this opportunity. At the outset, I would like to express my honor to deliver this statement as chairperson of the Arab Group this month in New York. And I would like to thank esteemed ambassadors among us today from the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the Non-Aligned Movement as well. The displacement of Palestinians in Gaza must be unequivocally rejected. The Arab Group categorically rejects such displacement, which constitutes a clear violation of Article 49 of the Fourth Geneva Convention of 1949, prohibiting the forcible transfer of protected populations from occupied territories, irrespective of motive. We commend the international community's firm stance in rejecting these proposals and reaffirming their illegality under international law. A united and unequivocal rejection by member states is imperative. This is not acceptable whether it is against the people of Palestine or any other state. We would also like to shed light on the ongoing, alarming Israeli expanded aggression in the West Bank. These actions are a clear violation of international law and must stop immediately. Colleagues, this very institution was founded on the fundamental pillar of upholding and respecting international law in order to maintain peace and security worldwide. And what we have been witnessing for the past 15 months is jeopardizing our multilateral system. The adoption by the Security Council of Resolution 2735 was a glimmer of hope towards the end of the Israeli aggression on Gaza, and we urge the Security Council to uphold and enforce the principles of the resolution, which calls for an immediate and full and complete ceasefire, the return of Palestinian civilians to their homes and neighborhoods in all areas of Gaza, the safe and effective distribution of humanitarian assistance at scale, and rejection of any attempt at demographic or territorial change in the Gaza Strip, including any action that reduce the territory of Gaza. And finally, the unwavering commitment to the two-state solution consistent with international law and relevant UN resolutions. In addition, we commend Qatar and Egypt, as well as the United States, for the utmost dedication in working around all the obstacles that are jeopardizing the ceasefire deal. The entire world supports a ceasefire in Gaza, and we all want to see its full implementation to lead to a sustainable and lasting ceasefire and to peace to the region and the world. Finally, we, the Arab countries, want to see a Riviera, a Palestinian Gazan Riviera in the independent and internationally recognized state of Palestine. With this, I give the floor to my esteemed brother, Dr. Riyadh Mansour, Ambassador of the State of Palestine.
Thank you, Brother Tareq. Shukran jazilan. And allow me at the beginning to express our gratitude for this massive representation of all of the Arab ambassadors and ambassadors from all regions of the globe, including NAM, OIC, the Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People from the African countries, from Asia, from Latin America, and this assembly of all ambassadors is to endorse the content of what was read by my brother Tareq, and we are strongly united behind the ceasefire to make it permanent, to spread to not only the Gaza Strip, but also in the West Bank against the aggression there, and for the Israeli forces to leave the Gaza Strip and to leave the occupied West Bank, beginning with the northern part of the West Bank, and the full implementation of all provisions of the agreement through the 3 stages. In addition to that, we are united behind the implementation of Resolution 2735. It was adopted by the Security Council. No one voted against it. We want to see the implementation of that resolution as well. We had a large Arab delegation that met last week with the President of the Security Council. We conveyed this sentiment along with our rejection to the ethnic cleansing and forced transfer of the Palestinian people outside their homeland, especially those from the Gaza Strip. And we are very grateful for the Chinese ambassador who conveyed the content of our meeting, including we extended an invitation to the Security Council to come and visit the land of the State of Palestine, including the Gaza Strip. We also had yesterday a meeting of all the Arab ambassadors with all of the European Union ambassadors in their offices. It was a very powerful meeting. It was a very constructive meeting, and we converged our positions on many important issues, including the ceasefire, the implementation of the stages, and the implementation of 2735, and honoring and respecting international law, and also to oppose the violation of provisions of international law as it relates to the crime against humanity of forced transfer. We believe that such strong messages from key components of the international community, along with the Secretary General, who made it crystal clear that he opposes ethnic cleansing as it relates to the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip. So therefore, we will continue our efforts here at the United Nations, with the Security Council, with the General Assembly, with the Secretary General and all components of the international community, not to allow further crimes to be inflicted upon the Palestinian people. What we need is to open doors for peace. What we need is a political horizon. What we need is to put an end to this illegal occupation as soon as possible, as has been articulated by the International Court of Justice, and as it has been legislated by the General Assembly, that this illegal occupation to be terminated within 1 year. We are working very hard with all partners in many things, including on the global alliance, on the two-state solution, and for the practical steps to convene an international conference as it was asked for by the General Assembly in June under the co-chairmanship of Saudi Arabia and France. This conference is not going to be an ordinary conference where we meet and give statements and issue a declaration. We are in the beginning stages of asking countries to declare commitments of what exactly they will do in order to contribute to putting an end to this illegal occupation. So by the time we meet in June, we will have the summation of all these practical commitments, including supporting the government of the State of Palestine, strengthening it, allowing it to be able to shoulder its responsibility vis-à-vis the Palestinian people. It means that to take practical steps against the illegal settlements and settlers. It means not to send weapons to kill the Palestinians. It means many other things, including for some countries that have not recognized the State of Palestine to do so, and it means for the Security Council to give a recommendation for the admission of the State of Palestine to full membership. These are but samples of the commitments that we expect from all member states, from political groups and regional groups, so that this time all of us will be working for the implementation of what the ICJ told us to do when they said in the General Assembly, adopt the modalities for putting an end to this illegal occupation as quickly as possible. We always work with you, the media. Please tell the story as it is accurately and contribute your efforts with our effort not to allow further crimes to be committed against the Palestinian people, especially the crime against humanity of imposing on us another Nakba, of kicking us out of our homeland. We have no homeland except Palestine. We love Palestine. We will rebuild the Gaza Strip. We will rebuild Palestine, and we will celebrate with you, inshallah, soon, the independence of the State of Palestine after the end of this illegal occupation and the membership of the State of Palestine to the United Nations. We thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate your time, and this is the messaging that we had for you today. Thank you.
Thank you.
How is the Palestinian Riviera going to be created, and who will be involved?
Well, there's, like any other country that has been devastated by war, if you look at World War II, you have London, you have Warsaw, you have Dresden, you have Stalingrad, you have Hiroshima, Nagasaki, all devastated by war. Everybody got together, they built their cities back, and today they are some of the most amazing cities around the world. So like any other place in the world, this is how Gaza will be rebuilt.
Do you believe the Trump administration is engaged in group-based efforts to bring a ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire in the Middle East, based on their recent comments about the Riviera?
Well, let's hope so. I mean, the only way forward is a two-state solution. This is agreed upon by every member state around the globe, and this is what we're all working for since day one of this. This has been a 100 years ordeal. We can't let this go on. Two-state solution is the only solution that has not been tried to date. The only solution that has not been tried to date is an end to occupation and the existence of a Palestinian state. Everything else did not work. This is the only way forward, and I believe the international community is all behind that.
Refugees from around the world, and especially from the Arab world, in places where there's been war, are going like to Europe, to everywhere around the world. Why couldn't those who want to emigrate from Gaza do the same?
Who said those who want to are blocked from doing the same? Like everywhere else, there's no place like home. And as Dr. Riyadh said, this is their home. They don't want to leave anywhere else. They have nowhere else. This is their home.
Egypt does block entry to each country from Gaza.
Let me just say,
Yes.
we should not have a theoretical debate of what the Palestinian people want and they don't want. What we need to do is to respect the wishes of the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people who marched, 500,000 of them, on their feet from the southern part of Gaza to the northern part of Gaza, knowing that they are going to destroy properties and homes, it is a clear signal that they want to go back to the places where they were born, where they have memories, where they have stories, where they have connection between them and the land. It is in our DNA. If some people tell us that they were exiled 2,000 years ago from a piece of land and then they are entitled to return to it, why is it so surprising that we, the Palestinian people, that should not be allowed to go to the places that we love the most? And then they tell us about those who were exiled 2,000, then they came and turned the desert into paradise. We are able to turn the destroyed beautiful areas that used to be beautiful in the Gaza Strip to what we want it to be. We are resilient people. If we are not oppressed, if we are not being killed, if in large numbers, if we are not being put in prisons in large numbers, just once we have that opportunity to exercise the self-determination on the lands of our ancestors, our fathers and grandfathers, then watch us as Palestinians, what wonders we will do. There is no one that can rebuild what they want to rebuild, to have paradise here and there, and we, the Palestinian people, cannot do the same and maybe more. So respect the position of the Palestinian people, the desire of the Palestinian people, and to respect what they decide. Don't kill them, don't force them, don't starve them, don't deny them hospitals, don't deny them schools, and then say they have the right to migrate away from hell. That is not fair, that is not correct, that is not congruent with humanity. One last question.
Are there specific steps you would like to see the Security Council or the GA take in the next, say, 2 weeks?
Yes, we told the Security Council for the next few weeks, you have two things that you declared that you are united around. One is the implementation of Security Council Resolution 2735 that has many things, including the rebuilding of Gaza, returning to Gaza, and unifying it with all the lands of the state of Palestine. And the other thing that we asked him for that, the implementation of this resolution, implement your joy and happiness in which you declared unanimously in statements in the Security Council that you are welcoming and committing yourself to the agreement on the ceasefire and the implementation of these 3 stages in it. So we told them, this is what we want from you now. That doesn't mean that for them to go and relax. And in fact, I said in the meeting yesterday with the European Union, in which there were 6 members of the Security Council in that meeting between the Arab representatives and the Europeans, you will have few weeks in order to make a difference in the defense of these 2 things. And if we do not see serious commitment to these things, then we will go to Plan B, which I will not share with you, nor I shared with them then. But we are flexible, we are reasonable, we are willing to work with whoever wants to work with us to see the implementation of these 2 things, the resolution and the agreement. But we will not accept that whatever will happen will be at the expense of the Palestinian people. We paid more than enough in terms of those who were killed in the Gaza Strip and in the West Bank. More than 50,000 without adding the perhaps more than 10,000 under the rubbles, and more than 110,000 injured. Enough is enough. We paid more than we should have. We should not have been put in that situation. But in spite of that, we need to put an end to this tragedy, to this genocide, and to begin the process of healing, fixing the schools, fixing the hospitals, cleaning the roads, having clean water, putting our lives in order to allow for temporary housing and shelters to be erected, so to pave the way for the reconstruction stage. The Arabs, based on the plans that we submitted as the leadership of the Palestinian people, which we circulated it to all members of the United Nations. If you don't have it, we'll be more than happy to circulate it to you. The Arabs, based on that and other creative ideas, led by our brothers from Egypt, will be in the next few days, as a result of consultations at high levels in Riyadh and the summit in Egypt on the 27th, and a ministerial meeting in Jeddah of the OIC on the 7th of March, we will be able to put the alternative for those who say there is no alternative but their ideas, to show that the Arabs, the Muslims, together, and many of our friends we have plans of how we can save Gaza, how we can help the people in Gaza to pave the way for beginning the process of reconstructing Gaza, and we will. And many said in the meetings that I refer to, especially with the Europeans, between the technical know-how by many and the financial resources by our brothers, the Arabs, we will be able not to abandon the Palestinian people, but let them to be resurrected from the dooms of what happened to them in the Gaza Strip to the glory of where they can be and to the genius of the Palestinian people, because we are the most educated people in the Middle East. So we can do wonders. Trust us. Thank you very much, and thank you to my colleagues.
Thank you.